Smash Legends lore, the library world. The library world is one big sky, and in that sky are floating islands that house the stories that we know in the real world. Now, once a story has met its conclusion, it then vanishes and reappears to tell its story again. But as the cycle continues, it is changed ever so slightly. We can use the story of Cinderella as an example. The most popular interpretation of the story is the Walt Disney adaptation. However, as it is retold, it reflects the modern day, from princesses in castles and glass slippers to high school students and cell phones. In the center of the library world is Sydop City, and has been there since the beginning. How its creation came about is unknown, with theories ranging from another story island, the heart of which the library world is formed, or simply built by the Sage Council. As time has passed, it has changed from its medieval roots to a sprawling urban area, a multi-leveled metropolis divided into different sections, and importantly, where the venue of Smash Legends resides. At the top, the city summit, reserved for the Sage Council and inaccessible to the general public. Upper City, originally planned for more housing, it has since gave way to capitalism and is where the wealthy reside. It is the heart of Sydop City. Lower City, the largest area and where a majority of the Smash Legends are located. And Undercity, originally planned for waste disposal, has turned into a slum for low city outcasts. It is where Umbra's main lair is located. And finally, Powers of the World. 7D, a technological powerhouse owned by 7D, a dwarf with 7 personalities, and Snow. Umbra, a large-scale criminal organization created by the Witch King with the goal of bringing the library world under its control. Rabbit Company, owned by Alice and explores new technology based on applied magical principles, famous for developing a short-ranged warp portal. The Sage Council, a gathering of those who qualify as sages in stories, seek to maintain and restore the library world back to its normal state from behind the scenes. Hunt, a voluntary group working to maintain peace in the library world. Part 2. What does this even mean? Okay, so with that basic knowledge out of the way, what does this even mean? Well, after a lot of reading, I'll tell you. So first, the library world is basically the sky, and Sydop City is basically the town where, after a story has come to an end, everybody in the story goes to Sydop Island. They're transported to Sydop Island, and then the story is retold again. That is what that means. However, and this is illustrated in the Smash Legend novel, that's right, there's a novel, and there are only a couple of them that are translated from Korean to English, only like a couple, the rest are yet to be translated, God knows why, but the important part about the world is that there is a problem, because when Cindy tells her about her story, she's rather confused towards the end of it, because, well, the story of Cinderella is that Cinderella has bad people, stepmother, stepsister, and the prince, she meets the prince, and she marries the prince. That is a basic explanation of what happens in the story of Cinderella. Bad people meets good prince, and marries good prince to get away from bad people. And that's basically what it is. The inside part of it can change. Like explained before, like the whole Cinderella thing, from like the glass slippers to like I believe in like the 2000 adaptation of Cinderella has to do with like high school students, and like the prince is like probably a popular person, and he finds out who his pen pal is by the phone. That's what it is. That the story that can like change, but like the main principle is probably the 3 stepsisters, good prince, get away from bad people. Now the problem here, and if you know Cinderella's story, but in essence she has good stepmother, stepsis, it's the fact that the prince is bad because he kidnaps her family and forces Cinderella to be with him. And now the whole reason she's even in Sydop City to begin with is because she sort of defied the expectations. Where I'm getting at with this is that her story is supposed to end with Cindy getting married to the prince by force. Because in the novel it states that so in the summary of the novel is that Cinderella is with a loving family, and the family and the prince wants to get married, so he makes the ball. The stepsister and the mother have dresses, but Cindy doesn't. And having good people in your life, they're like, you know what, let's just all stay home and then we can send you there in our state. And then Cindy's like, no, it's cool, I got a job. But then the witch queen gives her a dress and slippers, is like, hey, go. And she goes. The prince falls in love with her, but she gets away because of the constant 12 things end at midnight. And so she leaves the slipper. The prince is like, I need to find her because I am madly in love with her. I need her now. And so it plays out as normal. He forces everybody to try on the glass slippers, and then she finds Cindy, but Cindy's like, no, I don't want to marry you because I barely just met you. I don't like you. And then the prince is like, yeah, you know what? All right, I'll take your family. And it's like, what? And it's like, yeah. And it's okay. It's like now, and then towards the climax of towards the ending of the story, it goes, Cindy's there, and she's almost forced to marry him, but then her family members are like, hey, do what your heart desires. So in essence, she takes the glass slipper and just smacks him with it, smacks the prince with it, and then all of a sudden her vision turns white and she's in Sydop City. So, and therein lies the root of the problem that is happening now with the Witch Queen's like meddling in order to take over the library world, is that she is forced, and the this is the whole like thing of like characters suddenly appearing in Sydop City. They're called anomalies. That's like have to be the Witch Queen's doing. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that the order of the library world is that once a story ends, all the characters of the story are ported over to Sydop City, and then new people inhabit the world to retell the story. The problem here is that stories are like being changed dramatically, or they're stopping, and they're being ported over to Sydop City prematurely, and that in and of itself is like the main problem and the driving force, I believe, or maybe not, who knows, I would have to do more research, but in and of itself, what I wanted to say is that how Sydop City works, and because I was confused about this, that how do like the characters get to Sydop City? And my theory is that what I just said, story starts, ends, they transfer over to Sydop City, the story starts again, and that's how the cycle goes. That's why they have a library there for like the characters of that world who are transported there, write their story, put it in the library. That is how that works, and I believe that's their intention of how that works. I'm not very sure. This is just my rudimentary idea of how this works. There's not that many people, at least I checked on YouTube, that delve into Smash Legends lore. So in essence, that's what that means. That's how people even get to Sydop City before in the first place, and why there's like a conflict of why people are getting there, why people are prematurely getting there in the first place. Yeah, so if you understood that, thank you for listening. I will delve into, at this point, that's the entirety of info we get about the world itself. I'm inferring things like the library world being just the sky, and how the characters from the islands get to Sydop City in the first place. That's a bit of my assumption, and then the other part is the just like from this one novel section. That's about it. There is a tad bit more. It's brought up in always like Smash Tune novel, not like pages, but like an actual like comic strip. It goes a little bit more, explains what I'm saying. It gives a little bit of credence to what I said, but that's about it. Yeah, okay. Probably next time I'll probably go into like Legends, how no, yeah, I'll probably just go into like Legends. It'll probably be a much more easier task to tell you about. Thank you for listening to a man rabble about lore you probably did not need to know to play the video game. But hey, it's fun. And thank you for watching, and have a good night.